Dilip, we'll come back to you. We were discussing Reliance Retail acquiring Metro AG's cash and carry business for 2850 crores. Now, Metro AG is a leading international food wholesaler which operates 31 large stores in India. The acquisition will further strengthen Reliance Retail's physical store footprint as it gets access to a wide network of Metro India stores in prime locations and a supplier network. Shirish Pardeshi, who's the FMCG analyst at Centrum, joins in now to talk about that. Shirish, good morning. What is your analysis of what this acquisition would bring to the table for Reliance Retail, and what kind of numbers do you see? What could the growth contribution be?
I think two things, Sonia, good morning. Thanks for having me on the show. If you actually analyze, Metro has done a fantastic work over the last 1.5 decades in their presence. I think the second point which is there is that they have created an asset at a prime location, but never to mind that the footprint in terms of connect with the retailer. I think that's one of the strongest asset which will work in favor of Reliance. Of course, the omni-channel strategy and the physical network will be handy, but you have to also keep in mind that over last 5 years, even Reliance Jio footprint has grown exponentially well. Now, if you look at this marriage, I think two things will work. One is that obviously there is a cost synergy because these all assets are sitting in the prime location. So your delivery cost and supply chain is one of the crucial assets which will supplement your front-end network. That's one part. Second, obviously, there will be some overlap of the Kirana, but you have to also keep in mind that Metro has built its brand in the food retail very strong. And I think that will definitely complement. But the bigger challenge which I see that and the reason why Metro has been stretching its thoughts over last 4-5 years, I think the scale at which the expectations were to build. And that's where the challenging part which comes in, because to my personal view, having seen the industry for many decades, I think today's Indian Kirana retail, which is a large network, what we call it as a general trade, I think historically these people have been struggling to get the assortment right. And second, to get the assortment right in a whatever so-called 500, 700 square feet store, I think the turnover is one of the key important factor. And obviously digital is one of the way which has taught most of the retailers. I think if Reliance with its sheer size, if been able to improve their throughput, I think that is going to be a winning story for most of the retailers. At the end,
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, at the end, the growth rate is depending on the scale at which you are growing. But I think over a period of time, there are many regional models have been able to give a tough competition, what we say B2B wholesale. And I think that's where one thing one has to keep a watch out.
Shirish, thoughts on the valuation, the price at which Reliance has acquired it, 2,850?
I would not get into the valuation part. See, these all assets are more important and strategically located. And these all strategy fitment will happen and it will deliver the required, say, in terms of turnover and profitability over a period of time. But at this point of time, if Reliance is growing stronger in terms of network and distribution and creating its own size, I think you might say that on a 7,800, 9,800, 8,000 crore revenue, it's one of the cheapest asset which they would have bought. But what you have to keep in mind that the valuation is at that point of time, because you know the pain by the seller, and maybe buyer would have got those things right. So I'm not getting into valuation. It is all in the eyes of the buyer.
All right, we'll leave it at that, Shirish. Thanks a lot for giving us your quick take on the acquisition that Reliance has made, and have a great new year. Thanks a lot for joining in. Well, moving on, the biggest story yesterday, and perhaps one of the reasons why the markets in India fell, is because after 2 months, the Union Health